Okay, so let's talk about Newcastle United. Marsh, I know you've got a lot of strong thoughts on their transfer window. How do you think it went for them?
Well, basically, it's an utter shambles, really, isn't it? You've got to feel for Rafa Benitez with the way that he's been treated, and well, ultimately their fans as well, because they were promised. They got promoted. Basically, they were going to kick on. This was their season, that they were going to finally achieve the heights that they have the potential to reach, and they were going to sign the players that they need to bring in. Started off quite well as well, bringing Murphy for like 12 million. And then from then on, it just sort of went downhill, didn't it? Rafa Benitez has promised funds if they sell players, which is fair enough in a sense. But he's shipped a lot of players out and not brought in replacements, which obviously they needed to strengthen from last season, because their squad now it's simply not good enough. And for me, that is a big worry.
What do you think, Andy?
I'd have to agree. I think that it's concerning, I would say, for Newcastle. Last year, it kind of started to look like it was going in the right direction. They brought in a lot of championship-ready players, but this year they've done exactly the same, and it's not looking good for them. I know Murphy was mentioned by Marsh. He's all right, but he's fairly untested at this level. Manquillo and Hosselu don't capture the imagination. And I can't really look at a position where Newcastle have a player that is better significantly than a number of other teams' players in that position. So it is quite worrying for them that they're not really strengthening. There just isn't massive business going on there, and it's Newcastle United. They should be attracting better caliber of player, really.
They had an absolute gone, man.
No, you're right, mate. I've had my say. Go on.
I was just gonna say they had an absolute shit window in comparison to other clubs. I mean, I think they will float the relegation zone throughout the season, and if Rafa keeps them up, I think he deserves a statue.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
I think a statue is a bit far-fetched, because it's Rafa, so you got to bear in mind.
He will have done some job, though, I think, to keep them up. I think with that squad that they have.
Dwight Gale has never been an amazing striker at this level. I know he's always scored in the Championship, but the Premier League, he's never been the sort of striker that you need.
Yeah, but he's pretty much, him and Hosselu are pretty much all they've got, and to think they need to let him go to Fulham without an adamant replacement coming in, I mean, that for me is what is going on, you know what I mean? Like, they're a mess.
I would have liked them to go and sign a player like Islam Slimani on loan from Leicester. I think that would have been a good signing for them.
Yeah, they're linked. I've seen they're strongly linked with Giuseppe Rossi as well. It was a free agent, but again, that's another gamble that they really can't afford to take.
What positions did they need? Do you think they needed numerous positions, or was it just a few solid signings?
Everywhere, yeah.
Everywhere.
Well, maybe not goalkeeper. They were a little oversubscribed even in goalkeeper, to be honest, but everywhere else.
Is there any position you think they are actually all right in? Maybe like Matt Ritchie out wide.
Arguably in midfield, John Joe Shelby as well. There's still question marks over his attitude and whatnot. But yeah, the midfield is still not good enough, really. But that's probably their best position, which again is a big worry.
I like Christian Atsu. I think he's the only player that I look at that squad and actually, for me, is one of the players that can change a game. He's got pace, he's direct, and defence will struggle to deal with him throughout the season.
Yeah, for me, there's no excuses for Newcastle as well. Obviously, I don't understand about not spending money, but even if they weren't going to spend an awful lot of money, there's still plenty of players out there that they could have got for fairly cheap deals and possibly taken them further. I look at Watford signing Chalobah for 5 million.
Exactly.
Even like you could say Burnley maybe signing like, even if it's someone like Naki Wells for 5 million, then it will give Benitez a core squad to work with, and he's, as we talked about in our preview, that Newcastle don't have the best squad, but because they have Benitez there, he can guide them to safety. But he's been given such short options. You feel like it's a step too far for even for Benitez.
But it comes down to that old chestnut, doesn't it? Paul Workman always blames his tools. You know what I mean? He's got a sort of. I'm looking around Newcastle now. There seems to be this, rightly so, by the way, a negative stream which is just heading in completely wrong direction. It all boils down from the top, really.
So how would we assess their whole transfer market as a whole? What mark would you give them?
2.
Yeah, I think it's got to be 2 for me as well.
You look at it and there's not really a standout positive. I mean, Jacob Murphy's a promising player, but as Andy said, he's not been tested at this level.
Could we argue though that a lot of their players from the Championship have just been carried over to the Premier League, and in many ways it's good to see them get a chance? If they won the Championship, what's to say they can't survive, or is it simply too much to ask?
I think there's a clear quality divide between the Championship and Premier League, and whilst obviously some of them players are good enough for the Prem, some players will get found out this year.
I think the worrying thing is they were expected to really boss the Championship, and even some Newcastle fans would admit that they're far from convincing. Really, the only reason they won the league was just because Brighton took their foot off the gas.